Hello, greetings. I thought I would do the weekly newsletter slightly different this week and give this video recording a go. So hi everybody out there. I'm gonna try and deviate from my very comfortable written word and just ramble on Ayurveda. And so this week I'm going to try and keep these recordings topical because more and more I am starting to realize that Ayurveda is of the place. Generic Ayurveda just ain't my cup of tea, as most of you know. And I am going through a personal process with that as well, and looking to other practitioners that are following suit, where they actually are supposed to be becoming global. And I know that that is a trend out there. They focus in on the place and tell the story of the place. So I will attempt to do the same, which is why my Instagram feed has got a lot of Melbourne. I'm starting to take in the sights and sounds and smells and tastes of Melbourne and adjust my impressions accordingly. Speaking of which, the rain. So we had quite an interesting weekend. They did build it up to something of biblical proportions, which it wasn't really. It was just a lot of rain that kind of got stuck in some spots, and some silly people drove through them and got their car stuck. But it rained a lot, and I started to think about how I reacted to the rain. To truly follow the art of Ayurveda means that you are in a constant state of adaptation. So when people say that they do Ayurveda and they have a morning routine, or they eat khichdi, or they oil their body every day, it's really not the way that Ayurveda is supposed to be thought of. Ayurveda is supposed to be a dynamic idea, dynamic principle, where the host learns how to be in a constant adaptive state of being. So when we think about oiling the body, I had a client once who she came to see me, and she was advised in a workshop to oil her body every day because she was perimenopausal. I discovered that her doing so caused so much congestion. She had so much kapha to her that it was actually causing her a lot of problems. And I asked her to stop doing that straight away. So we have to be careful too. Okay, so this is a particular example where one person just had a lot of congestion naturally and really shouldn't have been given that advice. But yeah, in a workshop you've got to be careful because the advice is generic. Even those folks, myself included, that do well with oiling every day, because I do tend to have a dry interior and exterior, you have to be careful when it's cloudy. They actually state in the scriptures that you shouldn't oil when it's actually cloudy outside. So it was interesting sitting with Dr. Welch and when I did the mentorship with her and asking her this question. And she said that, yeah, that's true, that's actually in the scriptures. However, most people have so much vata distortion that oiling every day, for the most part will help to calm that vata down. So for every person, so you have to be careful because the oiling could cause ama within the body. Within each of you, you need to decide whether the oiling every morning that you do is going to actually calm the vata dosha down or increase the ama in the bodies when the situation, when there's a lot of clouds and when there's a lot of rain going on outside. How do you know the difference? You know the difference since the skin is a digestive organ, you know the difference in terms of your appetite. So that's how you can tie that in. So if you wake up in the morning and you find you have a super strong appetite, then do the oiling, even if it's cloudy. If you find that your mind is a little scattered and a little depleted, do the oiling. But if you find that there's sort of a heavy denseness to how you feel and you really don't feel like eating, even if you've gotten up early before sunrise and you still don't feel like eating, which is what happened to me over the weekend. I didn't feel like eating. And I started to notice that 2 meals a day was sufficient. So I kind of stood back and noticed that I was adopting more of a cuppa diet and lifestyle, which is really unusual for me, but it happened. So I just took that cue to stop oiling in the morning, and I actually felt a lot better. I just kind of coated myself with a little bit of coconut oil. So just this is just for this week. Just be mindful with the Abhyanga. We have to be really, really, really careful with Ayurveda that we don't turn these little gems of a routine into something that can cause us toxins. And which is why, in my opinion, you've got to get to know yourself and you've got to be educated. Reading through a remedial book on Ayurveda is fine. It's great. I mean, you can, you have a little bit of an inflammation and you calm it down, or, you got a bit of constipation. Here's an easy way to sort of fix that. And it's fine. But it's really not the nature of Ayurveda when you start to encompass how you live, how you exist, and the type of transactional energy that you put out to your environment, and that includes the people that are in your environment. So that's probably it for today. This is thank you for indulging me in being able to speak to you. If you have a particular topic that you're curious about, and it can be in relation to your own situation, if you understand your Ayurvedic constitution well enough, more than happy to make a comment on this. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. See you guys.